Hey Revs fans, you're in for a treat today. Welcome to Coffee with the Coach, fueled by Dunkin. I'm Elizabeth Pehota alongside New England Revolution head coach Bruce Arena. Coach, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Coach, you're coming off of a 2-1 win over New York City FC. The Revs are number one in the league with a 10-point lead and 17-4-4 this year. What's your assessment of their first 25 games?
Well, clearly we've had a very good start to the season. We're about, I guess, 2/3 through. And the team has played well on days when we weren't at our best. We've still managed to, at times, get off the field with some points, whether it's 3 or 1. So we've been consistent in terms of earning points. However, we need to get better. We're going to be in the playoffs, even though we're not mathematically there yet. But if we want to be a contending team, we need to improve. So hopefully, over these next 6 weeks, we can work on the things we need to get better at.
You mentioned the desire to improve. There's only 9 games left in the regular season. As the postseason inches closer, what's your biggest message to this team?
As usual, take it one game at a time and try to improve in the areas we talk about. You know, we can be a little bit better in the attacking end of the field, clearly better in some of our defending movements, and being better understanding the score of the game and the things we have to do. I think even in the game last week against New York City, it was a very good team. We're playing with an extra player and we're still a little impatient and we're losing the ball and giving them a couple opportunities at the end of the game to equalize. So we've got to be better in those situations. And having said all that, you know, I read that we've won 14 games by a goal, and those are the kind of games you have to win in the playoffs as well. So we're moving forward, but we got to clean up some of these areas.
Speaking of that win over New York City FC, goalkeeper Matt Turner, striker Adam Buchanan, and winger Taijon Buchanan returned from international duty and all had big contributions in that match. What allowed them to transition back to the Revolution so seamlessly?
Well, that's never easy, and I think you know, Matt and Taijon have had those previous experiences this year and understand the adjustment, and I was really pleased with Adam. He came back a day late, but really brought a good approach to the game. So that's a real positive because we're going to see that again in October and November.
Winger Taijon Buchanan, he scored his 7th goal of the season against New York City FC and extended his scoring streak to 4 straight league appearances. What's been his biggest area of growth?
Well, I think he's a talented player, technically good, very athletic, and he's gotten more experience and more confidence. And I think he's at a point now where you talk about athletes being in the zone. He's in a bit of a zone.
You mentioned players being in the zone. The depth on this team has been consistently tested with international call-ups and injuries. What allows you to get the best out of every player on your roster?
Well, I think we've been consistent with our message to the team all year, and in preseason we talked about the fact that we needed everybody ready to play, and you know, we go with the next man concept, and they've really done well. So the last game, you know, Kiza and Captoon and Boateng came in roles that they haven't played much this year and did an outstanding job, and that's been a real positive. We've seen that throughout the year with Brad Knight in the goal, AJ De La Garza and John Bell defensively. Scott Caldwell's been contributing lately. You know, in every position on the field, we seem to have a guy who's ready to step in for our players that aren't available.
Speaking of that next man up mentality, you host Columbus on Saturday, and that kicks off a busy stretch with 4 games in only 12 days. How do you approach that hectic schedule?
Well, the first thing is that we have to take care of Columbus and prepare our team for that, and then we'll make adjustments after that. But at this point in the season, you know, we're well aware of the guys that can step on the field and give us the kind of minutes we need. So we'll clearly be making changes on Wednesday in Chicago and back home Saturday against Orlando.
You host Columbus on Saturday, and this team is 10-1-1 at Gillette Stadium. What's been the secret to being so strong at home?
That's a good question. I'm not sure I know the answer because last year we weren't very good at home. But one thing that's been good for us is we have a new field. And that field is quite different than the field we played on in the previous 2 years. It's more suitable for the sport of soccer. So that's been a positive. And certainly having fans back in the stands helps. So the last game and the game before that, we've had really good support from our fans, and I think that's a real positive as well.
Well, the fans will look forward to supporting you as the postseason inches closer and we get further into fall. What's your favorite part about fall in New England?
Obviously, the leaves changing is always been beautiful, but I'm pretty amazed at how nice a city we have here in Boston, and how nice it is to get out and see the people and visit the great restaurants that we have. But I've just enjoyed the little bit of the change in the weather. Now that it's a little less humid, even though it remains to be warm. I'm hopeful I can stay like that for another 2 months or so.
What's your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant? Geez, that's a good question. I like Davio's at the Seaport. Probably that's my favorite restaurant because I'm Italian and I love Italian food.
There's great views there too in the Seaport.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Coach, and thank you for stopping by Coffee with Coach, fueled by Dunkin.
Thank you, Dunkin' Donuts.